everyone, it's Leandra at the Kentucky facility here for new Vocations Racehorse adoption program. I hope everyone's having a happy Star Wars Day. It's personally my favorite holiday, so may the Fourth be with you all. Today, for this very special trainer tip video, I have my new friend Unnamed Skipalute 2019 here with me. He's being a 2019 gelding, that makes him just 2 years old, so he is just a spring chicken, as they say. And so today for our video, we're going to talk about the Jedi mind tricks that you can use to help to train your horse, to use the Force most effectively to help train your horse. So what we mean by that with our Jedi mind tricks is that training is in a huge part a mental process for both the person training and the horse. So while we want to be able to convey our message or what we're trying to work with them on most effectively, that means that we both have to quiet our own mind, which of course, if you're familiar with Star Wars, is a big part of the Jedi training process. And then we can use our own neutrality in our mind because we're not projecting our own fears. As we all know, fear is the path to the dark side. And we can approach them in a clear-minded way that will help so that we can use the Force to train them. So Skipalute here came with lots of He needed help in the process of adjusting, as many young horses do. And he was nervous when his new best friend, so the horses who were in the stalls next to him, were getting turned out, and he was still in his stall. And he was just very frustrated and upset and calling to the other horses. And we needed to sort of break that frustration process for him, because for him, he was panicking, he wasn't thinking about anything else. And we don't have the benefit of being able to verbally communicate, say, hey, you're okay, so we have to show them that. But when they're in panic, it can be scary for people. They might not know what to do, especially if a horse is panicking in their stall. And so I introduced the lightsaber, the pool noodle. And you can see maybe that Skip was a little nervous about it at first, and now he's quickly trying to play with it. This is what I was calling his best friend, his new best friend. So he was scared of it at first, and now he plays with it. But I gave him this pool noodle, which you also have to have something that you don't mind them destroying, maybe, to break that cycle of panic. So a lot of times with the horses, they can get wrapped up in that process. They're panicked. You don't want to put your own personal self at risk by being in the stall, but you're trying to, if you've seen other videos, you might have seen me use clapping as a form of sort of like what I will call resetting that response, whether it's them, trying to be aggressive in some manner. If they're trying to bite you, if they're getting in your personal space, you can use a loud sound or something to sort of break that process and use it as like a reset button. So you can do the same thing when they're having a panic moment. You can introduce a new concept that will have them sort of restart that process of, like in this case, giving him an object to think about other than the panic that's going on in his own brain. So he was scared of it and then became curious and then wants to play with it. So then we can refocus his attention. So that refocusing became a very useful tool. And now he has a new best friend. It's a pool noodle. So let's take Skip out of the stall and see if we can find something new for him to encounter, which should be pretty easy. He's still really new. And we'll just try to see how he reacts and use our power of Force to work with him. And he's still really young. You can see he might be a little mouthy at times, and that's also, we've done videos on it before, but kind of knowing when to get involved and when not. He kind of nipped at me or like was trying to get my attention and was being mouthy behind me, and I missed the moment to be able to correct him. So it's not that we ignore that, it's that timing is everything with young horses. The application of pressure and taking pressure off and timing is very, very important. So You know, if you see that or do any questions about those sort of things, we can always dive into that more, but just so that you all are aware. It's a little windy out here, so bear with me, but this is kind of a good thing to talk about, because when you're trying to position yourself as a leader, which is really important, especially with younger horses, where you're establishing yourself, and you can see he's mouthy and I'm wanting to keep him out of my body space, that horses use the control of movement as a way to show dominance in the field when they're interacting with each other at liberty. And so that's really important and is a really useful tool to establish yourself as a person in needing body space and being able to be in that alpha position. So even when you're walking around, you can use those opportunities to assert yourself in that way quickly and easily without using force, but also really reinforcing yourself as the leader in that. So you can see he's kind of moving his mouth and he's testing limits in a lot of ways. So I'm going to try to use stomping or different actions. We'll walk around with him a little bit, and I'm going to ask him to stay out of my body space, to stop and then back up routinely. And hopefully we kind of have a little dance going on by the end of it and establish that relationship. So you can see even in just a couple, maybe a minute of work, that even when I stopped at the very end there, that his instinct was to stop with me and then back out of my space, not to be crowding it, not to be try to mouth on me, but it's just a really simple lesson that with repetition, he will establish as part of his routine, and that will help our relationship moving forward. He's still really young, so this is a really important lesson to get situated. Simple correction, especially if you can get the timing of it. Keep him out of your space. You don't need to do anything other than that. But the repetition of that is what's going to reinforce those neural pathways, going to make sure that everything that you build off of that is sort of correct in establishing your relationship. Let's get him out of his space a little bit more. There you go. And using these tools means that you hopefully don't have to put yourself in a position where you're fearful of your horse, that you can be confident, knowing that you have the tools to address it. Like I said, fear is the pathway to the dark side. We don't want that. It's a bad relationship altogether. So keep it light. You can see that a lot of what we do, you use as little force, as little pressure, and as little sort of interference as you can, and you can apply more pressure with the nose if I'm using the lead rope, for example, but sort of add only what you need. Start soft. You're going to have a much better relationship that way. And we can definitely build on these ideas. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see. I think this is sort of a hot topic, is the ways that you can work with your young horses and really make sure that you're set up for success, both yourself and with your horse, and then together as a partnership. So just a really simple concept for today. Unnamed Skipalute 2019 is brand new here to our program, and we're really excited about what he's going to be able to do in the future. But he's been a really good sport for this video so far, and thank you everyone for joining us today on this Star Wars Day edition. of our Trainer Tip Tuesday, and hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more of this guy in the future. Like I said, let me know if you have any ideas for future videos in the comments box. If you have any questions, you can feel free to type it there, even if we're not live anymore. And hope everyone's having a good one. May the 4th be with you.